coming to an end with 2 days for the over 200,000 delegates across the country to make their final decision. The NPP is in a desperate search for a candidate with a political clout to attract voters in breaking its much anticipated 8 in 2024. Today at your election headquarters, our attention is on that one candidate that has been described by delegates and party bigwigs as formidable and capable of leading the party to victory. Samuel Mbura has more.
He defended his party at the time the country was sitting on political tenterhooks following a lawsuit after the 2012 general elections. He displayed intelligence, grit and honesty before the Superior Court of Justice.
That's what you're doing. There is an error, but there is no dishonesty. If you want to be honest with the court, let us put down my analysis. If you are not afraid of the truth, let us put down my analysis and show me one repeated polling station in my analysis. If you are afraid of the truth, then of course you will hide behind these exhibit 9.
President Akufo-Addo recognized in him a dedicated and principled individual, embedding his name among the honest and intelligent men in Ghana's political history. It's for these reasons that he selected him against all odds as his running mate and subsequently the Vice President of the Republic. Former Mayor of the Greater Accra and current member of the Council of State, Ejiri Stanley Blankson, strongly corroborates the attributes attributed to Dr. Bawumia by the President. Is willing to go to greater lengths to defend Dr. Bawumia's integrity.
I have worked with him for a while, and I can tell you, if there is a guilty, and I said, look, the people called me that I should put my neck there, I would tell them that if it is for Bawumia, I will do it.
According to him, Dr. Bawumia has the endorsements of the Council of Elders of the NPP to lead the party.
I can say this without fear, that about 92% of my colleagues at the Council of State are supporting Bawumia.
A prominent figure in Ghanaian politics, Ama Bami Buzia, sister to former Prime Minister Dr. K. Buzia, and a Council of Elders member, also sees in Dr. Bawumia the qualities of a true leader.
Not because he calls me mommy that flatters me, but all the qualities because of my brother. I have a little bit of experience in politics, and all the qualities I look in a politician for, to me he has it.
She is so committed to his cause that not even a wheelchair could prevent her from casting her vote in his favor.
They said when they saw me because of my problem, they said, oh, we thought we were going to do proxy vote. I said, no, I want to make sure that I put my own thumb on his face. I'll go. I know he's going to win. Maybe between 85 to 90%. I know he's going to win.
Dr. Bawumia is the son of a prominent northern Ghanaian politician, Mahamudu Bawumia, who played a significant role in the formation of the New Patriotic Party. Samia Wuku, campaign coordinator for Dr. Bawumia, hopes that the tireless effort by the father of Dr. Bawumia and himself to the party will be rewarded by the delegates.
In the next few hours, we should be electing the leader of our party and a potential president of our country. And I think that the spirit of the NPP, may the spirit of our forefathers also be kind to him.
No account of Dr. Bawumia's political journey is complete without acknowledging the support of his wife, Second Lady Samira Bawumia. She has at any given opportunity defended her husband while extolling his qualities that make him the ideal leader for the NPP.
Are we ready for an honest leader? Are we ready for a humble leader? Are we ready for a hard-working leader? Are we ready for a leader who will unify us and not divide us? Are we ready for a leader who will take us to victory, inshallah? Jabbar, are we ready for 4th November? Are we ready for 4th November? Are we ready for 4th November? November.
Are receding as we speak due to the opening of this floodgate. Now, some people in this area were not happy about the issue. Some went on demonstration. Some agitated that they were not so happy about it because of the past experience. Some 30-something years ago where a lot of people were drowned due to this particular issue. It happened before where the flood and some people were drowned. Some fisher folk, market men and women were drowned here. So they stated. But the question here is, are they now satisfied? People are still interested in this issue. We've been speaking with the MC for Kesa Emmanuel Gemega.
Oh, now everything is calm. We can see that we are achieving our purpose for opening the floodgates as well as cutting the sandbar between the sea and the lagoon. We can see that there's a rush of the lagoon water into the sea, and I'm a happy man. I have to speak now. We have received reports from various communities that surround the lagoon, and the way the water levels are coming down from their homes, from their bedrooms. It's a good story to me.
So residents are hoping that what happened in the past will not be repeated or will not happen here this time. So residents are hoping that what happened in the past will not be repeated or will not happen here this time.
And St. Kizito is hosting well over 1,003 affected people. And so we need to move the people from there to allow the students to also go back. So we'll take up that issue today also to see how best we can address it before tomorrow.
The dying wish of late 15-year-old Priscilla Sante was for renal dialysis treatment to be easily accessible to persons with end-stage kidney failure. But almost a month after she passed, the very challenges that pushed her to her early grave is leading more with similar conditions to their death. Today marks 5 months, 12 days since the renal dialysis unit of Kolebu Teaching Hospital closed its doors to outpatients as a result of a 4 million cedi debt. Before we hear from President of the Renal Patients Association on its impact on their members, here's how Richard Kwejenyako captured Priscilla's last moments.
The humming sound of medical equipment here at the renal units of the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital welcoming patients. It's a Tuesday morning and 15-year-old Priscilla Sante is being wheeled into the renal unit here.
The doctors told me I have to be on a machine, and I have to be on that machine either twice or thrice a week.
For now, she has to travel nearly 100 kilometers from Chifu Mampong with her mother to the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital every Tuesday and Thursday to have her dialysis session.
My mom and dad do not have money either. We have become miserable. I am appealing to the government to help me live through this. Otherwise, I may die.
Priscilla, a junior high school pupil, now carries a weight much heavier than her school bag. Her daily battle now is not with textbooks and homework, but with the relentless adversary, renal failure.
I want the government to support me so I can live to fulfill my dream of becoming a nurse.
The burden of her illness has not only taken a toll on her fragile body, but has shattered her world due to the family's precarious financial situation.
They said that could be 3.5.
They say every section is 350 cedis. And this in addition to getting blood and other medication.
Presla's mother, Ruth Ofori, has been a pillar of strength for her daughter and is determined to ensure her only daughter lives. With teary eyes, she shares the story of her family's headache, struggling to cope with the emotional and financial strain that comes with caring for her only daughter battling renal failure.
From the doctors, if I keep on missing this section, I may lose my daughter. And I need the help of the government.
Her voice quivers as she recounts the sleepless nights and endless hospital visits, each one a reminder of their uphill climb. But Presla is not alone in this fight. Thomas Vincent Khan has lived with kidney diseases for a decade.
The people who came and could not survive just a week or even a month. So for me to survive it all these 10 years, it's really been a tough one.
For Thomas, the thought of heading to the dialysis machine is not just physically draining, it's also a haunting financial specter. The towering cost of dialysis looms over him like a relentless shadow, casting doubt and despair. Thomas speaks of the silent tragedy he has witnessed over the years, a grim parade of 100 busloads of people who have lost their lives to kidney failure because they lack the financial means to access dialysis treatment.
It's not easy always chasing people or asking people for help because it is very difficult to sustain. For instance, if somebody gives you $1,000 to help you, you can't go to the person every day or every now and then to ask for the same help. And this is a disease that you always have to be coming to the hospital. Without that funding, you can't come for dialysis. And here is a case that it is a pay as you go. There are people who have died because they cannot have the money to cost, not because of the disease, but just the thought of finding money to come to the hospital. That alone has killed them. If there was support for them, if they had the money, I'm sure they would have been here by now and then perhaps becoming rich. But unfortunately, because there is no money to support them, we have lost
the weight of despair that Thomas carries.
We wish that we have a strong funding to support our clients, those who are the vulnerable ones. Some are unable to pay even for a session of dialysis.
Kwesi Brown has worked in the renal unit of the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital for 20 years. Over the period, he's seen many families come to him, instructing him to take their relatives from the machine to go home and die, a situation that breaks his heart.
You won't believe it. There are some who even come in and they come in, tell you that now we don't have money to come anymore, and so please take off the catheter for us to go home. Because they can't, they just don't know how to get the next, the idea is to go home and die. You understand? It's sad, but if we have a fund in place, then from that fund we can support. Sometimes people, transportation from their places to this place itself is also a challenge, in itself, once the transport fares are going up.
And countless others here who bear the heavy burden of kidney diseases. It's a stark reminder that the battle against renal failure is not only fought in hospitals and clinics, but in the hearts and homes of individuals and families who continue to grapple with its physical, emotional, and financial toll. Of individuals and families who continue to grapple with its physical, emotional, and financial toll.